Hi, chat family. We are back on another conversation today. This is Marlene Saunders show where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. If it's your first time here, feel free to like and to subscribe. So, everybody, we're going to be chit-chatting about kids these days. And yes, I'm going to reminisce, and you guys can call me old fashioned if you want to, but I think that kids these days are very disrespectful. It's like they are acting like they are the adult and you are the child. I didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up that way. Yes, I did grow up in a generation where kids were seen and not heard. And I don't agree with that part. But I also believe that with this thing about people, everybody being these days into gentle parenting, right? Gentle parenting. I don't know. I to each his or her own. Hi, Miss Nexie. How are you doing? Welcome. You know, there's a thing right now called gentle parenting where it's like, I don't know, for me, it seems like the parents are, oh, you have to walk on eggshells. Oh, don't do that, baby. Don't do that. Okay. No, I don't agree with that part. I do think that it's important, of course, to don't be abusive to your child and don't, say derogatory things to them and things like that. But at the same time, this gentle parenting thing, it really needs to stop because so many kids now are out of control. When literally you see kids in the store screaming at the parent because they want something. And they're like, you're going to buy it for me. You better buy it for me. And I want it. Buy it for me right now. Oh, man. I'll tell you guys, if I had did that, I would have been in a casket. You guys would have never met Marlene Saunders show. For real. Hi, Just Jay. How are you doing? Welcome. Gentle, my tush. You were a gentle parent? I don't know if I believe that, Miss Nexie, but we'll save that conversation for another day. Just Jay, it says, Marlene, hi, good evening, Miss Marlene in chat. Please double tap the screen. Thank you so much, Just Jay. How are you doing? Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's Wednesday. What are you guys doing? How was your day? Did you work today? Are you chilling today? Let me know in the comment section. So, we're talking about kids these days are out of control. And I say that because of things that I've been seeing, is things I see on social media. And I do agree with having conversations and letting kids know some things. But I do think that there's a line that needs to be crossed. That, yes, I believe in communicating, hey, we're going to go here, but not to the point where the kids will be telling you what you're going to do. No, I'm not talking about a child that has special needs and things like that. I'm talking about a child that has their senses together and not a child that is bullying you and telling you how to be a parent. And there, I know this is probably going to bring some controversy and some people will not like it, but I'm going to say it anyways. What is with these parents now who allow their children to call them by name? And one of my highest rating videos, live streams, was when I said that if somebody has a child and nobody's child is going to be calling me Marlene, they will call me Miss Marlene. And people were outraged. People cussed me out and went off on me because I said I want to be called Miss Marlene. Whatever your opinion is, that's your opinion. I've worked hard. I've lived these years. I've worked on myself, and I demand respect from children because I'm not going to bully them. I'm going to be kind to them. I'm going to teach them. I deserve that. So to each his or her own. But as for me, nobody's going to tell me that I'm not going to ask for children to call me Miss Marlene. That's just me. Miss Nexie says, my child would have only gotten out in her or his scream, "You better," before blacking out. See, I was Miss Nexie. That's a good one. They wouldn't have got that far, right? See, I didn't have those things when I was growing up. There was no such thing as, what do you want? What do you need? No. Those things didn't exist, and, I'm all too communicating, because that's one thing that I learned about my upbringing. I do think it's important to communicate with your children, to let children know that they are loved, and protect them by having important conversations, like nobody should be touching your private areas and the like. Inform your kids, protect your kids, let them know that they can talk to you about things. But as this thing of being afraid to discipline kids, and when I say discipline, I don't mean physically assaulting them. Discipline comes in many ways. It's not just throwing blows on your kids, but taking things away, letting them know that they can't do that, telling them no and meaning it. Hi, Matthew. How are you doing? Yes, kids have to be respectful, but that's all up to the parent. The parent is the one, is the parent, the guardian, and the supportive. I call them supportive staff, because in my family, we're all together. We're in this together. It's not just one person raising a kid. It's a community. The community works together for it to work. And there has to be communication. There has to be support, compassion, understanding, and letting one another know, like, I'm not in a good mood today. Like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to do this. But letting kids into personal and private grown-up business, I do not agree with that. And some people won't agree with that. But to each his or her own. But I have seen that there are certain things that adults need to have adult conversation with adults. And kids need to stay out of those things, because personal things like what's going on in your romantic relationships, unless that's your kids and you're going through a breakup, a divorce, or things, yes, those things need to be communicated. But if it's outside of that, talking about your personal stuff going on in your romantic relationship with your kids, I think that's distasteful, and it makes a child lose respect for you. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to be very careful about how you parent. And there's a lot of people who think that that they have to be friends with their children. Now, I do think that you can be supportive. You can be helpful. You can talk about things. You can hang out with your kids. But also, at the same time, there needs to be boundaries in place, that they need to know that you're the mother or the father or the grandparent or whoever they are. They need to know that. They need to know there's certain things that I cannot do, and there's certain things that I should do. And you also need to teach kids that they're loved. Show kids affection. I grew up with that in my childhood, and it was weird for a mother or a father or siblings to hug and kiss one another. Let's bring that in 2025 and further. Hug your kids, kiss your kids. Don't make them think they have to go outside to get hugs and kisses. That's how kids get taken advantage of, and we don't want that. We want a supportive, wonderful, healthy space for kids to grow and learn. And kids may not understand it, why you have boundaries, why you say no to things, why you don't allow things, but it's okay. One day when they get older, they're going to understand why you said no to this, that, and the third. It's okay. But it all starts with how you parent, right? How do you parent your children? Do you tell them no? Or do you let them always have their way? Do you listen to them as well, parents? But yes, you talk to your kids about things, and yes, you set rules, but also, do you listen to your kids? Let them know, okay, what's going on in your world. Kids need to be supported. Kids should be thriving, and a child can only thrive if they have support, someone who listens to them. And sometimes you may not agree with what they're saying, but don't interrupt them. Let them share, because a child needs to get the support from their parents. Children need to understand that there are things that are going to happen in life. Things can't always go their way. I agree with that 100%. You got to teach kids that there's going to be problems in life, but you're going to have to navigate it. You're going to have to learn to speak up for yourself. You're going to have to learn to do the right thing. You can't always have what you want. You have to teach your kids that, because when the children grow up always having their own way, it's not a good thing. We have to teach kids that problems are going to happen. People are going to be mean, but you don't want to raise your kids to be bullies. You don't want to raise your kids to always feel that they have to have their own way. You want to teach your kids to be compassionate, but also know how to be firm, know when it's time for them to walk away, know when it's time for them to speak up for themselves. And all of that is a result of parenting. We have to bring back good parenting, discipline, rules, but also showing compassion and love. And I feel like that is the balance when it comes to being a parent, knowing the difference between just saying things and enforcing them. We don't want to be hypocrites. Don't just do as I say and not as I do. The same rules that you want to give to your kids, you also want to do as well. Kids need to see a positive example, good role models of how do you take care of yourself? How do you treat yourself? What type of relationships do your kids see you have? And if they see that you have good relationships, that you communicate, you take time for yourself, they're going to understand that life is not just about me having my time with my mother, my father, my grandparent, aunt, whoever you're raising. It's about balance. Kids need to know that, yes, I'm loved, I'm valued, I'm enough, but also I can give to others, I can be kind, I can share, I can have leadership qualities, and all of that is a result of good parenting. We need to teach our kids to be leaders, to speak up for themselves, but also to not be rude, to not be bullies, to be kind. We don't want to raise brats. I'm not trying to be offensive or hurt people when I say that, but we don't want to raise a generation of brats, bratty little kids, because guess what? Those bratty little kids turn into bratty adults. And if they always get their way from their childhood, and then it goes into being in romantic relationships, on the job, if they were never told no, they were never taught how to do things, they don't know how to stick to things, accomplish tasks, nobody's going to want to be around them. They're going to be impossible to deal with. People are going to want to stay away from them. And they're going to be very disrespectful. Disrespectful children turn into disrespectful adults. And we don't want that. We want healthy, happy children that are balanced, that know how to handle chores, do what they need to do, and get rewarded for that good behavior, because they do the right thing, because they communicate, because they're a good kid. Do kind things for them, parents, but it doesn't have to be everything that they want. Everything that they want materially, you should give it to them. Everything that they want to be a part of, it doesn't mean that's good for them. You have to know your kids, know their personality, okay? So that was the conversation for today. It gets to be exhaustive to see people on social media and day to day, at the job, all over. So many kids are very disrespectful and rude, but ultimately It always comes back to the parenting. How were they parented? All up to the parents. So thanks everybody for tuning in. This is the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. I do these live streams Monday to Friday, 30 minutes or less. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, and I will most definitely tap in tomorrow. Shout out to the mods, shout out to the channel members, and if you're in the replay, leave me a comment below. See you on the next one, guys.